news is here we've got David who's been teaching us to the surveys for the last couple of years. Slightly different way. Of course they have more of a survey pitch to it. So I got together with David a few weeks back and we decided on what we're going to do for the next 6 weeks. The other thing is we've got to try and pitch it as best we can at a level 6. Most of you are third year here in this class. So we also realised there is a need for something like 70 hours of self-directed study in this, which means that this is not a subject like, you might remember, communications. Here's a whole bunch of notes, this is how you do CAD, here's another bunch of notes, hit this button, etc. We didn't want it to be like that. We wanted it to be so we can give you the start of the program, we can point you in the right direction, and then you guys can produce something really spectacular out of it. And so what we're going to do as far as an assignment goes is Dave is going to take you through, I guess these notes here that say learning guide. We're not calling them notes, we're going to call them a learning guide. In some cases he's done screenshots, in other cases we might go by the seat of our pants, or your pants, and show you something, maybe say, hey, the notes say this, but this is how far we want you to go. Mervin's going to scribble the odd note down. Anything's useful, we'll upload that onto 12D as well. And at the end of it all, you're going to model up something in a survey in 3D, and is it a tin file, whatever you want, a surface file we'll call it. That is going to be one of your hand-ins, and that's going to happen pretty quickly after Queen's birthday weekend. So we're going to hit you with, have you got the timetable there, Dave? Maybe you get a chance to put it up. We're going to hit you with 3 weeks of this sort of thing. It's not going to be like other subjects, as I said, kind of monkey see, monkey do, that's gone. It's going to be, here's some sort of guides. You guys take it as far as you want to take it after that. Some of this can be quite good fun. Is it there still? Left hand side. Keep going up. Keep telling me what every time. Updated today, 2015. So now I realise that a lot of you are going to pull the card saying we've got exams, it's not fair, the hand-in's right in the middle of the exams. That's not going to wash, and I wanted to point that out tonight. For some of you, you're doing your end-of-year project and you're doing this one, which means you have 2 subjects with no exams. So to start getting up to about having 2 exams around the same time as the hand-in, I would suggest you dig in and do some good solid work beforehand and you get this finished. So for the first 3 weeks up here, I've got a pointer or something?
I'll bring it down lower to you.
Okay, cool. Keep going.
That's as low as we can go.
As low as you can go, okay.
Well, here we go.
So, for the first 3 weeks, we're going to be, or Dave's going to be teaching you this, this and this. At that point in week 3, I'm going to come back again and make a surprise visit, and I'm going to show you something that you thought you'd lost for the rest of your life here at Unitech. It's called Civil Drawing Standards. And you're going to produce for us the first hand in part A, which you'll see, we'll hand the assignment out at the same time, which will be a model. It'll be a model file. I'm not sure the form, it'll be an AutoCAD file, 3D.
PWG.
It'll be approximately 40% of your mark for this course. The second part is what I believe is more important, which is understanding the model, extrapolating very easy cross sections, long sections, proposed plan out of the model, and then making them look nice, making them look standard in AutoCAD. Now you're working, that's the other good thing about this program. If you're working in 12D, you would have to export it and import it, and this, you're actually in AutoCAD basically, so you don't have to do much, you're already there. So you can change the interface to be AutoCAD, and then away you go with the model in there. So we're looking at one, maybe two long sections. You hit a button, bang, they pop out. Not quite that easy, but pretty close to it. But then you've got to put those notes on there and make it look like those drawings from 2 years ago. Right? And that hand-in is during exams. First week of the exam. So you will need this period here to start doing a lot of work in, which is, we've called them class labs. It'll be basically turn up, Mervyn will be around, they will be around, and we'll give you as much help as we can with that. I'll put the notes up from a couple of years back, don't worry too much. I will also put up some examples of what I expect a good road to look like. So it's up to you to look at those and see what you can do about doing a good job and AutoCAD on that. It's going to be approximately 60%. It might be as low as 50. So that's where we're heading. So it's pretty intense, but at the end of it, you should have a nice set of civil drawings in Civil3d that you can show to any prospective employer at the end of when you graduate. Opus here in New Zealand use Civil3d predominantly. So there is one large company that does still use that in terms of its predominant software. Because it's not last semester it was Alan teaching, and Alan couldn't make it here till 6. This time round it's a little bit different. Dave's been here all day. He is asked in order to fill in for this if we can start at 5, which means you'll get home a little bit earlier. For the full-time students it's no big deal. For those in employment it might be a bit of an arm twister for the boss, but if you miss the first 10 or 15 minutes it won't be the end of the world. Are there any questions on what we expect from you? I did want to also say I have been in touch with Alan. He's started to get through the marking. It is difficult when you're doing a full-time job and teaching. I'll give you an update on that when I hear back. All right? Okay. Although Dave is here at Unitech, if you've got questions, SACs and all that sort of thing, go through me initially, please. So there's not a he said, she said sort of thing going on. I don't know who the she is, but okay, so that we can get one definitive answer. With respect, I just want to remind you the digital drop boxes will remain open. 1 second to 24 hours late is a penalty. 24 to 48, 1 second to 1 hour late is a penalty. 1 hour to 24 hours is a penalty. 24 to 48 is a penalty. So it's up to you to organise your time to make sure you don't stuff that up. We'll open up the digital Dropbox pretty much with the assignment. Yeah. You can just keep saving into that. So I don't want to hear all these excuses about broken memory sticks and cats taking computers and all that sort of thing. Right? It's there, you can save into it. Once it's in there, I can't argue with that. Once it's in there. All good? Okay, and most of you know David from surveying anyway. Alright, so it's not like you're foreign to him, but I would prefer any emails to do with any problems you might be having to come to me. You got anything to say, Mervyn? These guys know you anyway from the first semester.
Yeah.
Right? And you'll upload some of those files onto Oh, well, if he emails me, I'll make sure they get uploaded. Yeah. Okay. Without further ado, you can whack a few shoes. Okay. Cool. Alright. Cool.
Yeah, here's your lunchbox.
Yeah, my lunchbox. Okay, guys, best of luck. And as I said, I'll update you and Alan lets me know where it is with the market. See you in a week's time.
Alright. Let's start this time. That's it? Yeah. Alright, so on Moodle, practice data, okay? So here's their notes. So basically they're not quite a step-by-step guide, but they're enough to get you through, alright? So we'll do a run through with some practice data. So this phone, I don't like this. Right, so over here we have some practice data. Where is it? Wrong screen. I'm not sure if any of you have seen survey data. Can you all see that? Yeah. But you can see here, down the side we've got point numbers. So when the surveyor was saving their data, it can call something a point number. We've got northings, we've got eastings, we've got heights, and we've got codes about what that point was. This person's called GL, spot height, ground level. At the top you see Pukeko, and you also see H4, and they were the reference marks for that survey. So what we need to do is import this data into Civil3d. So I'll just save this somewhere. File, save as, save it on the desktop. Somewhere. Right, got my practice data. Civil3d. Down here under Autodesk. And please use the Australia New Zealand template, please. While it's booting, if you look over here, you'll see. Worry about the aims. Getting started. Open Civil3d. Use the ANZ template, please. So when you're doing this, please use the Australia and New Zealand template. Don't use the default. It's often in imperial, American, inches and feet. It gets really, really tricky if you've done all your work and then you start doing it dimensioning and such. It all comes out as inches and feet. It's not an easy way to fix except to redraw it, to be honest. So please, make sure you use the metric templates and stuff like that. So unfortunately at Unity it takes a fair while for these things to boot up. Civil3d is even slower than AutoCAD because it's a big program. It's about 4 gigabyte when you do a download. So if you are going to download it from home, you're going to be patient, okay? You're going to be patient. It's a huge download.
Oh,
there we go.
is that finished?
It's just starting.
Civil3d, ANZ, 2015 ANZ. So for those of you who, I think you're all fairly familiar with AutoCAD, aren't you? So you've got a lot of your tools down the side here. Tools across the top. Don't worry about all the messages. But you can actually switch it to classic AutoCAD somewhere. I've never used it, but somewhere around you can switch it to classic AutoCAD somewhere. I'm not going to find it because I can't remember where it is.
I hope it's happening.
ANZ. You guys sort of slowly finding your way around? He's already done. Not quite. There's something not right there, isn't it? Yeah, it's been imported easting northing, yeah. It should all look similar to that, okay? It's been imported easting northing, not northing easting. Okay? That's alright. Are we all sort of up to a place that works? Yeah, I know, you're late.
Yeah, but when did the class start?
5 o'clock? Oh, it's supposed to be 5:30. There you go.
Come on, it's in, it's like the other day.
I sent out an email.
He sent an email today saying it's 5.
I'll give you guys a few minutes to get booted. We'll just have to pause for a moment, guys, while a few latecomers get going. Just going to talk to Nina while everyone's catching up. Probably not, probably best to leave where you're going to if you scroll. Here we go. You got these different formats.
Yeah.
Okay, that's called Easting calling. You want E, C, D, G. Basically, okay. So, yep. A and Z. That one. 15 A and Z. You hit 315 A and Z. There you go. Hope you did. I might be grabbing all one down. So go find the data.
That one doesn't include the details though.
Should do. Yeah, you've got D on the end, isn't it? Yes? Yeah, you're jumping ahead of it. What do you want to do? Yeah, but you're on the wrong tab. You need to be in the settings tab. Yeah? No, you need to have all of them. Now go start there here. Start, all programs. Scroll down, too far. Order disk, find the order disk folder. Back up. Order disk. Find order disk in here. Just once. Oh, sorry. That one there. Yeah, down here. Civil3d ANZ. Australian New Zealand. Well, that's as far as I've got at the moment, alright?
Okay, so I didn't really last time.
Please note, guys, looking at this, I was a bit quick grabbing my screenshot, and this is in the wrong format. It's got easting, northing, and wants to be northing, easting, please. I was in a bit of a hurry when I was doing this the other day, and I hadn't realised I made that mistake. I will correct it, put up the correct version up online sometime. My apologies for that. But
what file format do you want us to use?
well, you're going to need something that matches your data, okay? So, we're there. Points, point creation tools. I'll go find my data, which should be desktop, practice data, okay. And you can tell because we know, oh, it's picked it, is it picked it right? No, it hasn't. Nope, that's not what we want. Point, northing, easting, space delimited. And if you can see here, we've got point number, northing, easting, point elevation, raw description. So that's where you want to end up. You want to end up with the data at that stage. You can jump ahead if you wish, but that's where we want to end up at the moment. We want to end up at the moment. Yeah, I'll see if I can zoom this. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? sometimes when you go to import your data, it won't work because some data surveyor has left, you know, like they've put letters where there should be numbers. So what I get sometimes have a bit of an issue with it. There's also a choice of point groups. It's not so important for what you're doing, but in real life, having separate point groups for different data is quite useful. You can keep different days' data separate, so you can go back and maybe check for errors if things aren't coming in quite right. You can put all your different codes, so you can put all your spot heights in one point group. You can put all your row curves in another point group. So you can turn things on and off to declutter the screen so you can see detail a bit easier. Yeah. Okay, evening home. There we go. Where are you? Maybe. There we go. Not me end up there. Points.
Creation tools?
Yep. Where are we supposed to be? There we go.
Are you demonstrating that program?
Alright, I'll cancel out of that.
Yes.
I'll cancel out of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Points.
Yes.
Point creation tools. Far end one, import points. Import points. Okay? Now this is only one way. There are many ways of getting your points, your data into Civil3d. This is a quick and dirty way. Okay, it's fast, it's easy, it works. But there's not a lot of other ways you can do it. All sorts of ways. For different reasons. But we're just going to do it the quick and dirty way today. So go and find your data. Where is it? Come on. Space. Now we do know what space delimited is, don't we? If you look at your data, you'll see that it's got spaces or tabs between it. Some data's got commas. Okay? So have a look at your data, see what it is. But Civil3d is quite handy with this, it shows you. Now sometimes you don't see that, it's because someone's turned it off. Yeah, you've got more than Eastern first, have you? So most people got to a point where I can carry on.
Yeah, so once you get the other
You choose a different one. So you're on whatever that one is, and just scroll down and find one. Probably right at the bottom. Save time. Point, that's easy northern. Keep going. Like I said, I've actually got this wrong, okay? My screen gap got the wrong way around, alright? Scroll right down to the bottom, you want northern first. Okay, all the way to the bottom. Yep. Northern, eastern, point elevation. We all sorted?
You have to ask him. Dave, could you help her out?
And
Should I do elevation?
nope. Don't worry. We'll just go templates. Come on.
It's gonna be more.
Probably down at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Scroll.
Guys, don't be afraid to ask
Scroll up.
Dave. I'm really unfamiliar with this program.
This is map. Not looking at it. Scroll down slowly. Slowly. Come on. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. This here. Sorry. Don't want that. Okay. Well,
I have a curtain in the middle of my.
come on.
Anybody want to go?
The whole thing is not locked up.
Oh, yeah. Jack's already next week.
You.
All right. Next week's
You're
coming
right.
up, yeah.
There. Oh. Yeah. Well, it looks like it's not. Alright, so you need to also get that practice data, stick it on the desktop please. Yeah? No, because you've got. Keep going down, you just further down, further down. Hey, here down. Hey, listen to me. Point, north and eastern. Hey, look at the data, does it make sense? Yes, sorry, Nina, I'm just there.
Hi.
That's great thing.
Is that what is that?
Ah, good on you. Right. Thank you for finding me. Yeah. Well, you and your 3D viewer.
Yeah.
Alright. So obviously the survey's made a looks like a brick effort. Alright. So you should be able to go and look at your contours again, find it, and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it looks like finally point. Yep. Get rid of it. Okay, now we have to rebuild. Here, right click. Alright. Looks like most of you have found your points.
Sorry, Dave, do you mind helping us there?
Hey. God, this is worse than first year's.
30 of them, that's why.
Hey. Right. Yeah, because I've shown you the right scroll down to the bottom. Northern, eastern, Z, D. All right, cool. Now I don't like that, all those things all nice and big like that, so I'm going to shrink it down. Hey, that made it a bit better, didn't it? That made it a little bit better.
So
Why do that?
they were excellent instructions.
Follow the instructions. Change it from 1 to 200 to 1 to 20. If you want to, you can go the other way. Yay! Alright? So we don't need the point creation tools anymore, so we can switch them off. Right, what's the next step? Oh, create a surface.
Mine's just hit the shit.
I better follow my what's name, shouldn't I? So, please, when you import data, it's quite hard because you might have been out in the field, you might have been in the field, you might not have been out in the field. But please make sure that it's following the shape. So if you know the area, go and look at Google Maps, okay? Does it fit the area you're working in? This does offer a functionality where you can put a map behind it, but I don't think it works because we're in the educational version. I tried it earlier and it wouldn't, they keep saying you don't have the privileges, so but maybe at work you can stick a map behind it and just make sure. This is out at the pond, where's my stick? For those of you who've done surveying out there, along here roughly is where that lock wall is, that old wall. Somewhere over here we've got the D marks, okay? This is that steep bank along the side. Over here somewhere you've got your D marks, H marks. And up here is close to the car park at IBM. You've got the trees and such down here, farm roads down here. So that's sort of making sense. If it's pointing that way, you've entered easting first, not northing first, okay? So, surfaces, we've got to create a surface. So this program has defaults, but often defaults aren't that useful. So it's good to actually name it something you remember. So we're going to call it EG for existing ground. Existing ground, okay? Now you might want to call it something else, but it's up to you. Now we need to add some data to it.